Hi, I'm Jessica Schwartz, and first, I'd like to thank the Edie Turner Prize Committee for this honor. I'll be reading from my book, Radiation Sounds, Marshallese Music and Nuclear Silences on Duke University Press, 2021. First, I'd like to give some context. The United States detonated 67 nuclear weapons in what is now the Republic of the Marshall Islands from 1946 through 1958. I'm reading from Chapter 2, Precarious Harmonies. 5 years later, during the March 1st, 2009 Nuclear Victims and Survivors Remembrance Day, 15 Rongelapese, all women, stood in front of memorial wreaths and paintings depicting the Bikinian Exodus, with a song composed entirely of questions. They faced the audience and sang, "Kajita Kananan Kwekia, these are my questions for you now, still." The song I heard at Shirley's house in 2008, and the one most frequently performed by the Rongelapese women. Lejeanne has watched as members of her community are, quote, visited by doctors, issued a clean bill of health, and then wind up in the emergency room 2 weeks later, end quote. Lejeanne told me that the impetus behind the song's composition was in line with that of 177, the continued unresponsiveness of the United States. The Department of Energy, or DOE's, unresponsiveness was buttressed by the Republic of the Marshall Islands, or RMI's, political representation. At the time, representatives from the DOE visited the RMI to meet with the government. The Rongelapese women asked to attend the meeting, but their request was denied. Therefore, together with the Utraquise women, they met the DOE at the airport and later threw a party for the DOE. 2 days before the party, Lejeanne decided to write Kajita Kinanan Kwekio and use the party, a space of entertainment, to voice serious concerns in the song. With this subversive move, the Rongelapese and Utraquise women turned a party into an affective and effective extension of court hearings and other more official hearing spaces. Lejeanne penned lyrics of both testimony and appeal, sharing a compilation of questions that continue to circulate among the Rongelapese community. Kajitak is a sonic history that is woven from these questions and the questions in motions that have been prepared, shared, and filed in the US and RMI governmental archives. The sonic history activates the heart, or in Marshallese body perceptions, throat, to continue the sharing when the courts and other legal spaces for hearing write them out. During their 2009 performance of Kajita Kananan Kwekia, the Rongelapese women arranged their nuclear remediation through an oral mediation of their sensorial impairments through their throats in the relational space of the International Convention Center, which had been built indirectly on the grounds of the research done on and professionalism afforded by their bodies. Center stage again, life had not changed much for the women, except they had used nearly every means of voicing their injuries possible for Americanized auditors who still refused to hear. Rather than meaning or spectacle, the women broke with harmony and made felt the sustained acoustical roughness of this international relationship. At 3 minutes into the song, the women stopped singing. Some in the audience, believing the song was over, began clapping as the conductor, Betty, turned to the audience and exclaimed, "Ah, thyroid," as she thrust her head upwards and pointed to her throat, to the location of the thyroid scar. She shook her head. Betty had pointed to us, the audience, earlier in the performance. She had used gestures to show us the parts of the body that the women were naming, like ni for teeth. These are the women's body parts that have been extracted and used in biomedical research. Their voicelessness can be read in the context of these biomedical extractions that are linked to the geopolitical erasures through which nuclear-enforced global harmony was procured. As such, the singer's voicelessness can be heard in terms of voice-based extractions from global harmony, beyond the interrelated judicial, metaphorical, and actual voicelessness of suffering, and in terms of the precarious system in which we are all implicated. I believe that our equivocal clapping let Betty know that the audience didn't know how to hear, for we interpreted incorrectly, perhaps in the same way that data have been incorrectly interpreted and instrumentalized. The petition that demands declassification through music proves another reason why data sovereignty, the repatriation of that which has been stolen from Marshallese and used as data, is necessary for sovereignty. Betty returned to the audience, to the breached throats of the women in her capacity as conductor, silencing the audience to listen otherwise. As Abaka explained, you do not clap for a musical petition. And here's an image of the Rongelapese women and Betty pointing to her throat. Thank you.